What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. So, look, Mauricio Sulaiman is speaking about George Kambosos, right? He's explaining that he is undisputed and giving his assessment of the whole thing and his reasoning, right? I can just tell you before I play this video, I have more questions than answers as far as his explanation goes. Let's get it.
Danny Flexen.
Hey Mauricio, season's greetings, of course. I want to ask you for your review on two initiatives the WBC brought in, how you think they're going so far. One being the welterweight division, and the other being the franchise championship.
Two hot topics.
Indeed.
And I've gotten a lot of punches over those two, but I'm very, very, very happy with both. Bridgerweight, we have a WBC champion now. We have a silver champion, international, NABF. We have a few regional titles already contested. We have great testimonials from fighters. It is clear that there is a gap between light heavyweight, cruiserweight, heavyweight. It's a big change. You go from super middle to light heavyweight, 7 pounds difference. You go from light heavyweight to cruiser, 25 pounds difference. And then you go open-ended for the heavyweight. So this introduction of the bridgerweight from 200 to 224 it's already finding a very nice universe of fighters within that range that are smaller heavyweights, that are fast, that are powerful. And the fights that we have seen in bridgerweight have been very, very good, very competitive. And I am certain it's going to be a very interesting division. There's already a few fights lined up, the mandatory against the silver champion. There's an elimination bout taking place for the second mandatory. So we're going to see very much action in that. Regarding the franchise, same thing. I did my column yesterday. I don't know if you all read it or not. Basically, what happens is any change brings resistance. That's a natural. Anything in sports, in life, in school. And the WBC has changed so many things in the history of the sport. From 15 to 12 rounds, they booed my father. They threw tomatoes at him. From changing the weigh-in to a day before. From introducing drug testing. From having the clean boxing program. So many things that are changes. It's natural. So we introduce a new concept. As any new concept, it will continue to evolve to find the perfection or the best scenario possible. What is the franchise designation? Basically, to attend those very few fighters of the highest level, which are to take place in great fights that the fans wants to see. Canelo.
Let me just say, okay, yes, I do agree. People do show resistance to change, okay? When change doesn't make sense, when change is not for the better, and when you can't explain what these changes are, they're definitely going to show resistance because it's like, are these changes for your benefit or for the benefit of the fighters or the employee? Okay, no different from you and I having a job where if change doesn't make sense and change works against us, of course there's resistance. Now, if change benefits us and we can see that, hey, these people are really doing their job to make sure that we're well compensated, whether it's through your insurance, your pay, the hours that you're working. Do you have paid vacation time, paid time off, things like that. So same thing with them. And he's yet to explain anything that actually made sense that I can see that it's helping, boxing out. According to Mauricio Sulaiman, everything is fine. They had some compelling, exciting bridgerweight matches and this and this and that. I don't hear anybody talking about this shit. And let's just be honest. So Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, all these guys were bridgerweights because they were all under 224. George Foreman included. Okay, Mike Tyson. So none of these guys are actual heavyweights. They're bridgerweights. Okay, anyway. He's talking about Canelo. Let's go.
The first one, through Canelo, he went, as a franchise, he went on to fight in super middleweight, then in light heavyweight, then came back. He requested to fight for the WBC vacant championship. So he did, and he has not used the franchise designation, and he
Wait.
unified the whole division.
Okay, wait. He said Canelo requested to fight for the 168-pound title. Now, let me show you the monopoly, okay, and the bullshit. If you guys remember, there was a poll taken on who they wanted to see fight for that vacant title. I forget the guy's name, but that guy that was mandatory, he lost to what's his name, son? The British guy. Nigel Benn's rivalry. Chris Eubanks Jr. That guy lost to Chris Eubanks Jr. Okay? And that was Canelo's opponent. Nobody wanted to see Canelo versus that guy. They ruled Canelo ass out of that. I forget who it was that they voted, but it wasn't for Canelo. And all of a sudden, Canelo, he fought someone else, I think, and then came back and still unified by fighting that same guy who was his mandatory. So basically, you made that guy his mandatory just so Canelo would have a valid excuse, not even a reason to fight. Okay? Not an excuse, but a valid reason to fight the guy. Well, he's my mandatory. Nobody wanted that fight. So this is all monopolized by Mauricio Sulaiman. And yes, he said without using the franchise championship privilege, he unified. What you mean? He didn't use it. You just said he requested to fight for the 168-pound championship. Well, without the fucking franchise championship, what fucking fighter can just request, I want to fight for this title? Without having it. Show me one fighter right now that just says, okay, I want to request to fight for that title. And he just, request granted. You don't have to do anything for it. You understand? And he gives it, he just gets his way. So even though Canelo was ruled out because this guy was no opponent, that it was no competition for Canelo, we're going to make him Canelo's mandatory. Who did this guy beat to become Canelo's mandatory? I mean, how the fuck, who? Okay. So, without using the franchise privilege, he unified the division. No, if he requested, you heard what he said. He requested. So you wasn't ranked based on what you did so much. We know Canelo winning fights and he only has the one loss on his record, and he's been, fighting and winning championships. But you said just now he requested it. When the fuck do you ever hear him say any sanctioned body, a fighter just requests he wants to fight for this and we give it to him? When? So why in the fuck, was Dylan White able to request the fight for the WBC heavyweight championship after he was supposed to be mandatory? And then you said being number one doesn't make you automatically mandatory. And then he had that, what belt did he have? The silver, the diamond belt? Which one did and he still wasn't mandatory even though he held this title. Now listen at all these 4 titles he just bragged about having. So why was Dylan White left in the cold? Why wasn't he able to just request the fight? He's not franchise champion. So if Canelo wasn't exercising that franchise championship shit, then why the fuck was he able to request the fight for the vacant title? And it doesn't matter if the title's vacant or not. How do you just request the fight for it? How do you go about that? First come, first serve? He requested it first. No, I guarantee you, aside from Canelo, nobody else could have requested the fight for that title. Even if they request it, it's like, no, we have to see the value in that fight. Obviously, there's value in anybody Canelo fights, right? Well, no, Canelo was ruled out. Nobody wanted to see that because that guy was no contest. And it's like for Canelo to beat this guy for another title, it's an accomplishment that, who the fuck is this guy? There's people outside of that division, lower weight classes, that could beat that guy. Let's go.
The other one, lightweight. As I explained it yesterday, it was very complicated 3 years ago. Mikey Garcia,
it's complicated now.
Keeping the title frozen for a year when he moved up. We ordered several series of fights. Some dropped, some didn't happen, some did happen. We ended with an interim championship. Then Lomachenko requests to fight for the vacant title, which is a great honor. We granted that. He defeated Campbell. Then he requested to be franchised in order to go into unified.
Okay, wait. So Mikey Garcia had the title frozen for over a year. Okay. He said they tried to put several fights together. Basically for that franchise shit, right? Now he said, wait, let me run it back. Just listen to what he said.
Some dropped, some didn't happen, some did happen. We ended with an interim championship. Then Lomachenko requests to fight for the vacant title, which is a great honor. We granted that. He defeated Campbell. Then he requested to be franchised in order to go into unify the division.
Okay, wait. So Lomachenko requested to fight to be franchised so he can unify the division. That's what Mauricio Sulaiman just fucking said. This guy initially said they choose their franchise championship based on work ethic and what they dedicated to the sport. Nothing about somebody requesting shit. So when he dropped his belt to Devin Haney, how the fuck? What sense does that make? Listen to what he said. He requested to become franchise champion so he can unify the division. He vacated his fucking belt. That's why Devin Haney got the belt. So what sense did that make? I want to unify the division, so I'm going to vacate the belt that I have, so I can unify. How the fuck do you unify the division without your WBC belt? So now all of a sudden, if you have the IBF, the WBA, the WBO, and franchise, now all of a sudden you're acknowledged as undisputed. This wasn't news that the public got. We didn't know anything about this whole, oh, well, yeah, if you're franchise champion along with the other three belts, then now you're undisputed. That is not what we were told. That is not what he explained before. So why would you drop your WBA? Your WBC to go to unify? That makes no sense. That's like saying, yo, I'm on my way to $1 million. Wait, let me get rid of 100,000 so I can get closer to my million. Oh, that only makes sense if somebody else got another 500,000 somewhere that, oh, you can spare that, give it to charity or something. You get rid of that 100,000, we got 500,000 for you. That makes no damn sense to me. What he just said. I want to unify the division, so I'm going to give up my WBC and become franchise. So now, all of a sudden, the franchise championship makes you undisputed. So doesn't that make you think, what is the WBA, the WBO, what are these other guys going to come up with? What belt they're going to come with that if you have that belt along with the WBA regular championship or super championship, whatever all this shit, WBO, what? Oh, so now all of a sudden there's going to be different combinations of belts outside of just the four major to make you undisputed. If you guys can't see, these motherfuckers are lining their pockets, man. These belts don't mean shit. You heard what he just said about Lomachenko. This is his words. That's why I'm playing this video, because people love to, well, I didn't never see that. I didn't hear that. Where did you get that information from?
We accepted that. He fought Lopez, and Lopez requested to be franchised if he defeated Lomachenko. That's the first change in the rule that we had. We adjusted where the designation can be exchanged in a high-profile fight, as it was that fight and as it was with the Kambosos. What happened with the franchise in the lightweights?
Okay, wait. Now you heard what he said. He said Lopez requested that if he wins, he becomes franchise championship too, right? Now, we didn't hear these talks back when this happened. Remember, before Kambosos and Lopez just fought, what did Lopez's father say? That Mauricio, he just told us, he let us know. He just told us that the what you call it is on the line. The franchise championship is on the line. He didn't say anything about we requested, this be defended where it will make me an undisputed. He made it sound as if Mauricio Sulaiman is like, oh, just so you know, your franchise championship is on the line too. So the adjustments you made, now he's explaining the adjustments that was made was we appoint you to be franchised, but now all of a sudden you can request to be franchised. So Lomachenko wasn't elevated up to franchise championship as franchise champion because he saw his worth so much. He was asked. Not that he didn't see and realize Lomachenko's a real deal fighter, but what I'm saying, he was asked, he requested, according to him. So he voluntarily gave up his WBC. You see how as time go on, you start to find out shit because people feel like once time goes past, oh, you forget what they said. You forget. These videos are here for us to go back to. This is exactly why a lot of times people say shit and all of a sudden you can't find a video no more after a while. It just disappears. Okay. So if you're going to use the term he was elevated, okay, that means franchise championship is higher than those other championships. And if you can't request a fight whenever you want, whoever you want, whatever division, like he said, then what makes this any different? And especially it's not even a physical fucking belt. But what makes it any difference? And you're paying a sanctioning fee for it. So basically, for Lomachenko to drop the WBC, then that means that he understands this franchise championship is supposed to be what? It's a privilege title. You will be able to do X, Y, Z. Because if you need the WBC, okay, to get the other, to have that a part of your collection of belts to be franchise champion. So in other words, without the WBC, IBF, WBA, WBO, and franchise, then that means you're recognized. You're recognized now as undisputed. So if you don't have the IBF, but you got the WBA, the WBO, and the WBC and franchise, you're undisputed, and vice versa. This is crap, but let's go.
You can look at it today. It gave us 8-7 fights of the greatest level, and it will continue to give many good fights.
Let's talk about Kambosos.
I am sorry for the confusion that fans may have. I'm sorry for the confusion media may have. I'm sorry for those who run the statistics like maniacs and say, oh my God, what is this? If you look at all record books, you will always see asterisks in some pages. I stay with the activity in the ring, with the great opportunities to many fighters, and I stand proud. It is not something that is going to happen in every weight category. It's not that. It is not that. So I feel confident and I feel at ease and accept every comment, every request. I will accept it. And
it's good that it's not going to happen in every weight class, but at the same time, it's unfair. I don't care for all these extra titles, but at the same time, you have to be in a certain weight class to benefit from this bullshit. And see, you got to understand, if promoters, presidents, and management, these guys are maximizing their dollars, you don't think the fighters are going to want to maximize their dollars when they're the ones that are taking the fucking punishment? And these motherfuckers are sitting up living like kings and they ain't never threw a punch in their fucking life? Of course they're going to want to maximize their dollars. And this is part of the problem of why you see more fighters fighting for the money to the point where they don't want to take certain risks. And trust me, their management team is behind them. Their promotion is behind them. They're letting them know, man, this is a fight you don't need right now. You don't need this fight, man. Go fight this guy. People going to talk shit. They going to look. Whether Whether they talk good or bad about you, as long as they're talking about you, that's what matters. Go fight this guy. Go make your money over here. We don't need this fight right here, man. If it comes down to it, this fight right here with this guy should be for a huge amount of money. You fight for him, you fight him right now, you're not going to get top dollar. He's not going to get top dollar. So instead of getting $5 million for this fight and him getting $2 million, let's make it where you getting $20 million, he getting 15 or whatever, or 50-50 or whatever. This is what they do. Okay? But people overlook this kind of stuff right here and understand this is the root of the problem. You know, it's like we always said in the Bible, right? Well, God killed this person, killed every man, woman, child, every animal, right? He did this and he did this. Everybody who choose to do what was wrong, and pretty much the devil, Satan benefits because he wants your soul. And you always say, well, why didn't God just kill the devil? Right? That's the root of the problem right there. Just kill the devil, then evil is done, right? Okay. Simple. Let's go.
And try to get us for the best. Dillian, is that all, Danny?
Just a very quick follow-up. We regard George Kambosos as truly undisputed, as Devin Haney has the WBC lightweight title.
Yes, Devin Haney is the WBC lightweight title. He's a pride WBC champion. He has grown into being a tremendous champion. He defeated Gamboa, defeated Linares, just had a great outing with Jojo Diaz. As I said, it's a new concept. Kambosos defeated Lopez, who defeated Lomachenko. So I do believe he's due recognition as undisputed champion, and great fights to come.
Thank you.
Hello, Dillian.
Hey, Mauricio, how are you?
Let me just finish one thing. I saw my champion Haney comments after the fight, and he says that when he fights Kambosos, he will not care for the franchise. Perfect, because one of the things that the franchise element is it has
Wait.
to be requested. So if
Hold. Let's go back to that.
yes, perfect, because one of the things that the franchise element is it has to be requested. So if
Shit.
Haney, if he defeats Kambosos and he does not want to have the franchise designation, that is perfect.
Okay, wait. That's the end of the interview. So wait, you heard what he just said. Devin Haney just said when he fights Kambosos, right? He said he doesn't want the franchise championship. That's because Devin Haney see it as bullshit, just like I do, and so many other people. So wait, if he fights Kambosos, he beats Kambosos. He wins all of his titles. WBA, IBF, WBO. Now he's recognized. Okay, as undisputed without the franchise championship. So that means, and then he said it has to be requested. Okay, so now that's something that they changed. It's a bullshit concept, because if nobody's requesting it, then what happens? It's just sitting there and you're just fiddling your thumbs waiting for somebody to request this shit? Think about it. So let's say he doesn't request it. Does Kambosos remain the franchise champion? Or is it when a fighter loses and he has the franchise championship, now other fighters can request to fight for the franchise championship? Or do they just say, no, we're going to take it off of Kambosos because he lost and give it to somebody else? Or we still believe in Kambosos, but if he loses again, we'll take it off of him. How does this work? So Devin Haney will be will be undisputed if he beats Kambosos and take all his belts. But yet, even though he's even though he's undisputed, somebody else is franchise champion, right? So what's the advantages of being a franchise champion at that point? Like I said, I have more questions than actual answers, man. Like I have more questions after all the things that than after all of his answers. I don't get it. I just don't see the importance of this goddamn title, man. It's just that ending part right there is what made it even worse. He's undisputed. He's undisputed with because of that being one of the 4 belts that he have. He's undisputed with it. Devin Haney can become undisputed by winning that because he has the WBC, right? Like I said. But yet the franchise championship is just up in the air, so somebody has to request it. So basically there'd be certain fighters that you'll turn down, right? Because you said it depends on the fighter, like what they bring, what you see in them. So let's say a fighter that you don't see as being that guy. Do you turn that fighter down? So who gets it then? And what's the benefits of the franchise championship? You can challenge whatever fighter you want to champion. Remember he said before, you can challenge whatever champion you want to challenge. You can go up and down in weight and fight whatever champion you want. So does Kambosos keep the belt? Now let's say there's a rematch clause, right? And Haney beats him again. So does Kambosos continue to be franchise champion and say, I want to take this, now I want to exercise my franchise championship clause and I want to fight him a 3rd time? How does this work? Because I doubt very seriously you're going to keep the title on someone who loses 2 fights in a row. Or loses to the point where they get the shit beat out of them. Because what that is a direct favoritism championship of the WBC. That's what it is. It's unfair that only certain divisions have it, but at the same time, it's good that it's limited to certain divisions because boxing, man, Mauricio Sulaiman, you are hurting boxing. I understand what you're saying about change. Like I said, yeah, you are 100% right that people do resist change, but change for the better is understood and accepted because people see the point. We don't see the point in this whole franchise shit, man. So all the other things you compared it to from the past, that what your father did, and this, I get that, but this is something different in itself. And we don't see the benefit of this championship other than you lining your pockets with more money. All this interim, NABF, silver champion, diamond champion, gold champion, milk carton champion, backflip champion, suicide champion. Oh, God, all of these belts for what? What does it do? What does it do? And another question, with having all these other belts, does the person that hold the franchise championship, do they have immunity over all those other champions? Like what, for example, let's say somebody's mandatory. Can the franchise champion say, nah, I want to fight that guy for his mandatory spot? Or no, I know he's mandatory, but I want to fight that champion. Or do you fix it where whoever's holding that franchise championship becomes mandatory? Yeah, you said you sorry for the confusion of the fans because you're doing a horrible job with making this make sense. Out of all of what you said a whole lot of nothing. So I really don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, I understand everything came out of your mouth, but I don't get it. I don't see the point. This championship is nothing but a worthless favoritism championship, as I've stated already, that's given to people, and now, oh, it's requested. That takes a little bit of the weight off your shoulders that, well, we didn't just make him champion. He requested it, but you granted it. You granted it. So if this is a title that you hold that can make you undisputed if you have the other 3, but then without this, if you have the other 4, you're undisputed. You saying it's opportunity. It is in a way of that because if you don't have the other, but then at the same time, now what's going to happen is, well, if you got undisputed and he doesn't want to fight the other guy because champions are not mandatory for other champions. So if that's the case, like just say, for example, if Kambosos decide he doesn't want to fight Haney or vice versa, they both can walk around holding these titles forever until somebody else beat them, but they don't want to fight each other. Like, you understand? Like, this title, you guys didn't think this out well, man. I hope through the process, well, hopefully for you guys, you know, you're the WBC president, that you guys can straighten this thing out to where it makes some kind of sense. And I'll say the best way to make sense, honestly, this shit just makes no sense at all. This title has to stand alone in a different way, but at the same time, it has to be something that you earned, and it has to make sense. And I just don't understand how you're going to make this thing make sense. If you're satisfied, like he said, you think that this is a good thing, then you will never see the point that I have in anybody else, simply because in your mind, you won't ever think that it's wrong. You won't see that it's worthless. It's meaningless. You want to make it to be something more than what it is. And boxing fans are not into it. Deontay Wilder said he wouldn't want that shit, and now Devin Haney saying the same thing. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? It's a bullshit belt. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all in the next video.